Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we have a Warhammer 40,000 Black Library review for you, and today we're going to be checking out Soul Hunter by Dembski-Bowden. Now, this has been great. Lately, there have been a ton of classic Black Library novels coming back out. We obviously looked at Dembski-Bowden's novel, The Emperor's Gift, but we've also seen things in recent times like Titanicus by Dan Abnett. We've also got Maul's Darkblade, the Gotrek series. We've had things like the Genevieve Vampire stories come out as well, and it's great to see all these old stories, many of which I do remember reading back when I was much younger in my teens when these first came out. So seeing these all come out in audio format has been really enjoyable, and so we've picked up the first novel in the Night Lords trilogy. We'll have the entire trilogy up. I've currently got about halfway through book number 2 as I'm recording this, but as always, I do like to listen to the recordings of them. I think some of the voice actors can really add a lot to the characters and really add a lot to the stories with great performances. And Andrew Wincott does a great job at bringing these characters to life. But also, I think really interesting in this is the fact that, we are getting these classic stories back, and I look forward to more of them coming out. So with that said, let's crack on into talking a little bit about what the story is, or what the blurb for this story is. And that is, the Night Lords were once among the most potent forces of the Imperium. Obviously, they're one of the first founding legions. Space Marines who used fear itself as their weapon, terror tactics always being the Night Lords' thing. Now, cast adrift from the Emperor's light and hunted as heretics after their monstrous betrayal, they sided with Horus in the Horus Heresy. The Night Lords clad themselves in symbols of death and fight the Long War, which is the name we give to the war that sort of these Space Marine legions that first turned on the Emperor during the Horus Heresy have been fighting against the Imperium. They try to bring pain and terror to all who worship the corpse god of terror now. During this, a summons from the War Master Abaddon the Despoiler, the first captain of the Sons of Horus, sends these rebels on a dangerous journey that leads inexorably to a conflict with the Emperor's chosen warriors, the Blood Angels, another one of the first founding legions. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, this story's purpose. This story introduces us to the Night Lords, and in particular, the 10th Company of Night Lords. Now, for those familiar with Space Marines, or I guess just learning a little bit about Space Marines, the 10th Company for a Legion is a bit different than what we know as like a 10th Company for a Space Marine chapter in modern 40k. Back then, Space Marine Legions were made up of hundreds of companies of Marines, and each one of these was an independent organization, essentially a chapter almost in its own right. And so it's not like a scout company or anything like that. But rather, we get to have a look at what this company is, or rather what's left of this company is. We get a good look in the story in how the Long War is fought, how the Night Lords have managed to stay in the fight for so long, how they resupply, how they arm, how they create new recruits, what they still sort of do that, is maybe not all too different from regular Space Marine chapters. We also get a look at some of the end goals of the Night Lords, and these do vary from Night Lord to Night Lord. Some of them have their, ideas of maybe ascension to demonhood. Some of them have the idea of, maybe we actually will slay the Emperor. Some are just there for vengeance. Some are there just because they hate absolutely everything and everyone. And so, who do we follow in this story? Who is our main character? Our main character is a Chaos Space Marine, or rather a Night Lord Space Marine, as they prefer to be called, by the name of Talos. Talos is a former apothecary of the 10th Company, but he now serves as sort of a proxy pseudo-sergeant of what is called First Claw, essentially the first squad of the 10th Company. Now, Talos is an interesting individual. He is blighted by the curse of his Primarch, or the gift of his Primarch, which is he has these glimmers of futures. He has these premonitions, these sort of visions, as you will, where he sees things that may come to pass or that need to come to pass. It's not always a given science. Anything with, sort of prescience is, I guess, up in the air, but we sort of really strongly get a look at this at the beginning, and a lot of what happens within the story will deal with Talos and his visions. Now, Talos, like I said, is also an apothecary, or rather a former apothecary, so he does have quite a bit of knowledge in that department, but he's also, still a space marine, a formidable fighter in his own right. And so over the course of the story, what does change about Talos and indeed our Night Lords company? Now, at the start of this, the Night Lords definitely are in a more sort of depleted state. There's barely about half the company worth of Marines in there, around 50-ish Marines. And this includes, all the support Marines as well. So this includes, their tech Marines and all of that, the captain and all of that. There's not a lot of them left. They have been severely depleted and they're struggling to resupply. Now they are called to war by the War Master, who exalted the captain of the company of Space Marines here is sort of trying to, I guess, suck up to, you could say, look to gain the favor of the War Master and gain a powerful position at his side at times. But Talos is very much, trying to think about the Night Lords first and not the overall ascension of any one individual. He is very much a legionary still first and foremost. And over the course of the story, we see Talos come to blow with many of his fellow Night Lords who maybe see their own ascension as the right way to go about things. But he definitely is a little bit disobedient, you could say. And he definitely sort of presses and pushes his point of we need to save the Legion more than anything over the course of the story. And so what does this story do well, though? For me, I really like how this sort of shows the difference in how Space Marines fall, how these Legionnaires of these fallen legions sort of differ in how they sort of act now they're free from the shackles of the Imperium. Individuality is really strongly on display within the story. You have some that are, calling out to the powers of the Dark Gods. You have some that are just trying to vent vengeance and frustration for perceived or rightly perceived wrongs that the Imperium did to them during their time serving it. And you have some that are, just simply trying to survive, that are just loyal to their legion and are just trying to survive. For me, this is really good. This is really interesting. It makes all the Marines here seem like individuals, and all the secondary characters, they matter. You sort of care about the different ones. You're interested in them. And it's not just like Marine 1, Marine 2, Marine 3. They are, all individuals that make it really good to be able to tell stories with them and different sort of confrontations between the different ideologies and thought patterns of the Marines in the story as well. And so, who would enjoy this book? I mean, if you like the Night Lords, if you are a fan of the Night Lords Legion, Night Lords Chaos Space Marines, this is a story that is a must-read. In general, though, I think as a 40k piece of literature, this is a must-read story for any fan of 40k. I think the Night Lords Omnibus, the Night Lords Trilogy, as it were, is one of those sets of stories that is so good, along with the Wordbearers Omnibus and the stuff of sort of following the Iron Warriors. I think these are the three sort of main storylines that we've had for so long with some of these characters. Like, obviously, in the Iron Warriors, we have Honsu and Talos, and we've got the Wordbearers in there as well with Marduk and all of that. I think some really strong stories that you need to sort of have a look at for Warhammer 40k in general. This gives a counterpoint to the Imperium, which is normally where we see a lot of the points of view drawn from in this universe. In summary, like, I don't think there's much else I can say that I haven't already said before, especially in the last slide, just talking about how I think this is for anyone that likes 40k to get into and to read and listen to. This is a Black Library classic in my mind, this entire series. It is amazing. 9 out of 10 for me. This is probably some of the stuff that really got me into 40k in general. And I am so excited that I actually picked this up and started reading these at the time, because of course in the Warhammer reveals that have just happened, we've seen the Night Lords kill team revealed, which I am just super excited to build and put together and make Talos and First Claw out of them. So with that said, if you have read Soul Hunter by Aaron Dembski-Bowden or any of the Night Lords novels, let us know your thoughts. If there's some other stories that are coming out on Audible that you'd like us to check out on the channel, let us know about them as well. But thank you all for watching and listening. And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our great little community here, we have a Discord server linked down in the video's description, and also linked down there are the best ways to help support the channel as well. Our Patreon and YouTube members down there are fantastic ways to help support the channel, and if you'd like to get a shout out like all these people, you can go and join up today. So with that said, we'd like to give a shout out to all our Patreon and YouTube members. So thank you to our Patreons: Rob B, Broken Chef, Andy C, Grimscold, Colorblind Magic, Benjamin Swallows, James Cater, Mark Harvey, Domir, Average Wargamer, Q Damac, Andrew Bowen, Outer and Shot First, Kenny Lowe and Soren, and to our YouTube members: Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, James Tillman, Disco, John Castle, and Gargamel196. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.